Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. A couple of new announcements. If you are a sophomore and you're registered as a sophomore, you will need to complete this PSAT form, letting us know whether or not you'll be taking the PSAT on Tuesday, January 26th. Even if you aren't planning on taking it, you still need to complete the form because they need to know how many people will be on campus that day. So the deadline to submit this form is next Monday, so you have 1 week from today. And if you've submitted it in any other class, if any other teacher has asked you to do this, that's okay. You don't have to do it again. But I want to make sure that if you are a registered sophomore, that you complete that PSAT form as soon as possible. All right, we're going to review some poems and some notes based off of what we're going to complete for this week. So if you click on the link, you'll be asked to make a copy of the poetry text set. And there are three choices. The first one is called Janet Waking by John Crow Ransom. The second one is called Foul Shot by Edwin Hoey. And then the last one is called From Mother to Son by Langston Hughes. So I'm going to work backwards here. So From Mother to Son by Langston Hughes, we talked about Langston Hughes last week when we read Dreams. And so this one is the persona or the speaker, if you will. Obviously, we can guess from the title is a parent, a mother, giving helpful advice to her son. And so this is an extended metaphor because she says, or the speaker says in the second line, life for me ain't been no crystal stair. So if you think of a staircase and you think of a crystal staircase, it looks easy, it's polished, right? And she gives explanations about splinters and boards and tacks in it, right? And she uses this idea of a staircase to kind of explain how life is not a crystal staircase. It's not perfect. There's going to be bumps and bruises. And giving advice about persevering, right? Just keep moving forward, keep climbing. The second one is about a particular moment. It says, with 260 stuck on the scoreboard and 2 seconds hanging on the clock, the solemn boy in the center of eyes, squeezed by silence. So if you know anything about basketball, you know, if somebody gets fouled, they get an opportunity to get a free throw. And so this is really zooming in on that moment of whether or not that ball goes in the basket. And it's a lot of personification about what the ball is doing. And so you can see all these one words. And then you have this kind of suspense right here, right? And then, right before roar up, down and dives through, or dives down and through. So that really focuses on that really intense, suspenseful moment. Now, Janet Waking is about this little girl, Janet, who wakes up and she thinks about her little hen, Chucky, and she wants to go check on it. And so she kisses her mother and she kisses her dad, and there's all this information within each of the stanzas. And there are 7 stanzas, each of them are 4 lines. The first line and the fourth line rhyme, and the 2 middle lines rhyme. But essentially, Chucky is dead. He's been stung by a bee on the top of his head and he has died. And so this kind of explains Janet coming to that realization and experiencing her first time with grief and loss and death, and how she tries to wake him up, but he won't. And so it's really kind of sad. It's this moment of loss of innocence and realization and grief about this innocent little girl and her sweet little hen, Chucky. But that one has a little bit more about form. It's a little more structured and it's got rhyming and it tells a story. So for these notes, I went ahead and gave you a little bit more specific information on the structure, the form, and then what it's about. So that way you can make some educated decisions. So each of them are over 20 lines. Mother to Son is the only one that has 1 stanza because it's really not set up in stanzas, but it is an extended metaphor, so it makes that a little more challenging. So even though Foul Shot is, 4 stanzas maybe, and it's got 31 lines, it's pretty easy and it's really based on personification. It doesn't really have to rhyme. But you'll notice that Janet Waking is kind of based on a rhyme scheme, and it's really about loss or some sort of major realization. And then I just gave you some options for topics. So in foul shot, like achievement, some sort of transformation, anxiety, making a difficult choice, something that is focused on that 1 second. And then for mother to son, of course, advice from an elder or maybe possibly you giving advice to somebody else, overcoming obstacles, things like that. So tomorrow we are going to begin work on our own imitation poem. So in order to do that, you need to be able to choose one of the poems in this set, one of the three, and then break down its structure for yourself. Use the information I gave you on the previous slide to help you do that. And then you'll start selecting a topic for your poem and then imitate it yourself. And we'll work through that tomorrow. However, notice on the bottom, your grade is based on how closely you follow the form and the structure of the poem that you pick. And then you'll be able to use this imitation poem that you write in your multi-genre project, which is super awesome because it's less work you have to do when we get to that point. So for today, your discussion board is simply your poem selection. You're going to give me the title and the poet of the one you've chosen to imitate. So it's either going to be Janet Waking, Foul Shot, or From Mother to Son. And then discuss why you chose that poem over the other options provided. Okay. Maybe you have an experience that lends itself more to that form. Maybe it's the shortest. Maybe it's the most challenging. Maybe you like to rhyme or don't like to rhyme. Whatever the case may be, just simply give me the title and the poet and then why you chose it. And that's all we're completing for today. And tomorrow we'll get into more specifics about how to complete the actual imitation poem. All right. Have a great Monday, everybody, and we'll see you guys on Zoom. Take care.